Hello, we're going to go over the reproductive system, which is our final exam. So we're going to start out with, what is the function of the reproductive system? It ensures human species existence. What are the male reproductive parts? Gonads produce gametes, reproductive cells, and hormones. The ducts receive and transport gametes. Accessory glands secrete fluids into ducts, and the perineal structures are the external genitalia. What is the sperm pathway? Testes, epididymis, ductus deferens, ejaculatory duct, and urethra. The accessory gland fluid travel into the duct system. Seminal glands, prostate, and bulbal urethra glands. Testes, they produce sperm within the scrotum. The tunics surrounding the testes are tunica vaginalis, outer layer derived from peritoneum. The tunica albuginea, inner layer, forms a fibrous capsule. It rises the septa that divides the tissue of testes into lobules, 250, which contain 1 to 4 seminiferous tubules. What is seminiferous tubules? They have a thick stratified epithelium surrounding the central fluid containing lumen. Epithelium containing spheroids are spermatonic. The cells that are embedded in the support cells, sustenocytes. Tubules of each tubule converge to form straight tubules. What is the sperm travel from seminiferous tubules? Rectotestis, seminiferous ductules, and epididymis. What are the interstitial endocrine cells and produce what? They are Leydig cells. They produce sex steroid hormones and androgens such as testosterone that secrete into interstitial fluid. It is located in soft tissue surrounding the seminiferous tubules. What is scrotum? Sac of skin and superficial fascia. Hangs outside of the body to keep 3 Celsius lower temperature for sperm production. What are the 2 sets of muscles that keep the temperature down? Dartos muscle, which is a smooth muscle, wrinkles scrotal skin, and pulls scrotum closer to the body. Cremaster muscle, bands of skeletal muscle that elevates testes. What is spermatic cord and what does it enclose? It encloses nerve fibers, blood vessels, vas deferens, and lymphatics that supply testes. Epididymis function is the start of reproductive tract, coiled tube almost 7 inches long, bound to posterior border of each testes. It has a head and a body. And it goes like epididymis, ductus deferens, ejaculatory duct, and urethra. It monitors and adjusts composition of fluids produced by seminiferous tubules that make the sperm motile, recycle damaged sperm, and store and protect sperm, facilitate functional maturation. Ductus deferens, which is also vas deferens, which is 45 centimeters, passes through inguinal canal to pelvic cavity. It expands to form ampulla, joins duct of seminiferous vesicle to form ejaculatory duct, smooth muscle, and walls and sperm from epididymis to urethra. What is vasectomy? Cutting and ligating ductus deferens, 100% birth control. What is urethra? Both urine and semen travel through it at different times. What are the 3 regions of the urethra? Prostatic urethra, which is surrounded by the prostate, intermediate urethra, which is also the membranous urethra, and urogenital diaphragm. The spongy urethra runs through the penis, opens the external urethra orifice. What are the male accessory glands? Paired seminal glands, which is seminal vesicle, paired with bulbal urethral glands, prostate glands, produce bulk of semen remainder from sperm from testes. What are seminal glands? Posterior bladder surface, smooth muscle, contracts during ejaculation, produces viscous alkaline seminal fluid, 70% in volume. Duct seminal vesicle, ductus deferens, ejaculatory duct. Bulbourethral glands, which is Cooper's glands, are pea-sized glands inferior to prostate, produces thick, clear mucus during sexual arousal, lubricates gland penis, neutralizes traces of acid in urine. What is the function? It activates sperm, provide nutrients to sperm needed for motility, propel sperm and fluid along reproductive tract, mainly by peristaltic contractions. Produces buffers to counteract acidity in urethra and the vagina. Semen is a milky white mix of sperm and accessory gland secretion. 2 to 5 millimeters contain about 20 to 100 million sperm. It contains fructose to ATP productions, protects and activates sperm, facilitates sperm's movement. What is the penis? It consists of root and shaft that ends in gland penis. What is prepuce or foreskin? Cuff of loose skin covering the glands. What is corpus spongiosum? Surrounds urethra and expands to form glands and bulb. Corpora cavernosum, paired dorsal erectile bodies. What is an erection? Erectile tissue fills with blood, causing penis to enlarge and get rigid. What is spermatonic cells? Give rise to sperm. Mitosis of spermatogonia stem cells form 2 spermatocytes, and the meiosis of spermatocytes, secondary spermatocytes, and spermatids. Spermiogenesis, spermatids become sperm at puberty. Spermatids are small non-motile cells close to lumen and of the tubule, contains correct haploid chromosomes, number needed for fertilization. Now we're going to go on the reproductive organs for the female. Ovaries are female gonads, produces female gametes, secrete female sex hormones, estrogen, estriol, and progesterone. The ovarian ligaments anchors ovaries medially to uterus. Suspensory ligaments anchors ovaries lateral to pelvic wall. Mesoovarium suspends the ovaries. They're all held in place by all these ligaments. Each ovary is surrounded by fibrous tunica albuginea, which is cuboidal epithelium outer layer. What are the accessory ducts of the female organs? Uterine tubes receive ovulated oocyte, usual site of fertilization. Uterus, a hollow, thick wall muscular organ, function is to receive and retain, nourish, and fertilize ovum. The vagina, thin wall tube 8 to 10 centimeters in length, birth canal and organ copulation. The external genitalia, external sex organs, major and minor labia, and the clitoris. Coronal radiatal cells, cellular layer that is present on the oocyte and provides protection to them. Ovulation, ejection of oocyte from ripening follicle. Corpus luteus cells and what they do. Develop, form ruptured follicle after ovulation. Fallopian tubes and parts. Fallopian tubes receive ovulated oocyte, and the parts are isthmus, which is the constricted region where tubes meet the uterus, ampulla, fertilization takes place, intramural portion, and then infundibulum is near the ovary, ciliated fimbriae of infundibulum to create current to move oocyte into uterine tube. What are the uterus parts? Anteroted, inclined forward, retroverted, inclined backwards. Body, major portion. Fundus, rounded superior region. Isthmus, narrowed inferior region. Cervix, a narrow neck or outlet, projects into the vagina. Cervical canal, communicates with vagina via external os. Uterine body communicates via internal os. What are the uterus wall layers? Perimetrium, outermost serous layer, which is the visceral peritoneum. Myometrium, bulky middle layer consisting of interlacing layers of smooth muscles, contracts rhythmically during labor. Endometrium, mucosal lining, simple columnar epithelium on top of the thick lamina propria. What are the two chief layer strata on the endometrium? We have stratum functionalis, which is the functional layer. It changes in response to ovarian hormone layer and it sheds during menstruation. Stratum basalis, the basal layer, forms new stratum functionalis after menstruation. What is dysmenorrhea? Painful menstruation. What is Mittelschmerz? Pain felt sometimes during ovulation. What is the vesicularine pouch? It's the space between the bladder and the uterus. What is rectouterine pouch? It's the space between the rectum and uterus. The vaginal wall layers are fibroelastic adventitia, smooth muscle muscularis, and stratified squamous mucosae with rugae. What are the ovary ligaments? Ovarian ligament anchors the wall medially to uterus. Suspensory ligament anchors ovary lateral to pelvic wall, and mesoovarium suspends ovary. The broad ligaments are suspensory ligaments and mesoovarium. Supports uterine tubes, uterus, and vagina. What are the uterus ligaments? Mesometrium is the lateral support of the broad ligament. Cardinal lateral ligament from cervix and superior vagina to pelvic lateral walls. Uterosacral ligament secures uterus to sacrum. Round ligaments binds uterus to anterior wall. What is the vagina function? It's the birth canal and copulation organ. Uterine vascular supply. We have uterine arteries in myometrium that go to radial arteries in endometrium, to straight arteries, which are stratum basalis, and then radial arteries, which is stratum functionalis. What are the phases of ovarian cycles? Follicular phase is from 1 to 14 days. The full size is 2.5 centimeters to 1 inch. Bulges from external ovary surface, which is ready to be ovulated. The FSH level drop around middle of follicular phase, and the rising levels of LH cause ovary wall to rupture, expelling a second oocyte with corona radiata to peritoneal cavity. Then you have the ovulation, the luteal, which is the post-ovulatory phase, and then menstruation. so this is how it goes. It goes primary follicle, secondary follicle, vascular follicle, ovulation, corpus luteum, the generating corpus luteum. What is the uterine menstrual cycle? Menstrual phase, which is the menstrual phase. Functional layer of endometrium is shed. Proliferative phase, which is pro-ovulation phase. Functionalist layer of endometrium is rebuilt. And then you have the secretory phase, which is post-ovulatory phase. This constant 14-day length. Immediately after ovulation, enrichment of blood supply and glandular secretion of nutrients, and prepare the endometrium to receive an embryo. Oogenesis, production of female gametes, which takes years to complete. Oogonia, multiply by mitosis and store nutrients. And the primary oocytes develop in the primordial follicles, begin meiosis 1 and stall in prophase 2. And then they have a secondary oocyte, which you will have to look at that more in depth. Now we're going to go into the lymphatic system. What is the lymphatic system? It returns leaked fluids from blood vessels back to blood. Primary lymphoid organ is where the T and B cells mature. T and B cells originate in bone marrow, but only B cells mature in these. The T cells mature in thymus. The secondary lymphoid organs, area where mature lymphocytes first encounter their antigen and become activated, which include the nodes, spleen, MALT, which is the mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue, and diffuse lymphatic tissues. What are tonsils? Simplest lymphoid organ. It forms a ring of lymphatic tissue around your pharynx. Palatine tonsils, located on the posterior end of your oral cavity. Pharyngeal tonsils, posterior wall of nasopharynx. Lymphatic capillaries, blind-ended vessels that weave between tissue and blood capillaries. The main ducts. Right lymphatic duct drains right upper arm and right side of the head and thorax. The thoracic duct drains the rest of the body. The main lymphatic channels of lymphatic system, right lymphatic duct and the thoracic duct. Each empties lymph into venous circulation at the junction of internal jugular and subclavian veins on its own side. What are Peyer's patches? It's a cluster of lymphoid follicles in a wall of distal portion of small intestine, similar structure in appendix. What is the thymus? It's the most active during childhood. It increases in size, growing during adolescence, and gradually atrophies. What is the spleen function? It's the largest lymphatic organ, site of lymphocyte proliferation and immune surveillance and response, and cleanses the blood of aged cells and platelets, and macrophages remove the debris. What are more afferent vessels in the lymph nodes compared to efferent vessels for exiting the lymph? Fewer afferent vessels causes flow to slow down and allow lymphocytes and macrophages time to function. And that is it. We are done with our study guide. Good luck. Start it over to hear it over and over. Have a great day.